My name is Yovette, and I am here to teach all you beginning artists as many new tips as I can possibly give you so that you can produce some wonderful paintings. And today it's all about the mountain. So let's just go get started. For a beginner, it's very easy to just do this. Now this is black vine charcoal, and it's what I use for sketching. I love this stuff because it's really easy to come off. Anyway, that's a typical mountain that a beginner might make, and then he might make another one here. He, she, whichever. And then might make another one here. And that's kind of what the mountains are like. They're kind of like teepees. And this is something that you want to get away from. This is a no-no. Don't make teepees. That's because they're very boring. I've made a lot of them, I know, especially when I was first starting. Oh my goodness sakes. Anyway, let me get a paper towel here. Okay, that's the first thing. I'll take that away. And the second thing is, when you're making mountains, try not to do this. So here's your mountain. And then you decide, well, I want another mountain right here. Oh, that feels good, and I'll do another one here, maybe another one here. And I might even make one over here. I'm sure that you have probably experienced this. Okay, the thing with this is that it's like stepping stones. And it's all organized, and they're all the same height, and they're all 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's distracting. Your eye goes right there instead of going to the whole thing. So trying to vary not only your peaks, but your width of your mountains so that you have different height and different width. Okay, let's take that one off. And let's do one more. Let's do this one here, and this one, I'll start up here. This one, I might make a little bit different shaped. It's got a few little bumps and a few little things in it. And let's see, maybe there's one coming off here. Maybe there's even one coming off over here. Now, these are different in their width and in their shapes. And so the next thing you want to do is decide where your light is coming from. So you may want your light over here. There's a happy little sun. Oh. And so if your light is, if your sun is here, your light is going to be hitting on this side of the peak. And so you're going to maybe, this is imaginary now, just make a line here and somewhat of a line here and here. So if your sun is here, it'll be hitting there, and this would be your shadow side. Okay? And that's the way you would do it. Your highlight or your white would go on the left side. However, if your sun is on the other side, let's just take this off quickly here, and your sun is now moved over here. It's like a little happy face, huh? Anyway, your sun is over here. You still have maybe some sort of a mark here, but now your highlight is on this side, and your shadow is over on this side. So you need to be concerned and decide before you start your painting, where is your light source going to be, on the right or the left? So let's go ahead and take all that off. That's a number 5, it's the small knife. What you can do with this is the way you pick it up. Lay your knife down flat. And when you pick it up, your fingers will touch the flat surface. And it's just right below this little knob here, this little metal part. The knife, I'm actually only holding the upper part of the white. Now if you're right-handed, you'll be doing just the opposite. Same thing, but the knife is in the opposite hand. Okay, so now I want to grab some paint. We'll just do this really quickly. This is just a kind of a no-brainer. So I'm taking my blue, I've got some blue-gray mix here, just loading both sides of the knife. Okay, what I want to do, let's just go ahead and do just a really quick, simple little mountain. Just like so. Oh, I forgot something. I wanted to show you something first. This is what I do when I'm home and I'm practicing by myself. And this is so easy and so quick, and I'll tell you, it makes a world of difference. Get yourself an old canvas, one that you've worked on and you've erased and you've worked on it again. I have several of these. As a matter of fact, you've probably seen this one before. Here I have some thinner, and so I'm dipping into my thinner, just dipping my brush into the thinner, tapping it, and set that aside. And right here in the middle, just go over the center with thinner. Now this is only for practice. You don't want to do this for good. So just up and down and just get that thinner everywhere. I'm using the thinner in place of medium. It works absolutely fantastic and it's easy to clean. So that is my little tip for cheating, is what I call cheating on a canvas. Just for practice though, like I say, you don't want to do this for good. But anyway, now let's go back, and now you'll find the paint will spread much, much, much easier. So let's go back in and we're going to create this little mountain. So see, I picked up my knife the right way. I'm holding it the correct way. I'm going to go up here. Let's just do maybe a funny little, there, nothing fancy. And let's just have these two peaks. We won't do a whole lot of peaks. And I'm not even going to get real ripply with this. I'm just going to just make a basic mountain. Two of them. Two little ones. Okay. So if you, just for instance, now if you did want to create a little bumpiness so that it's not just like that, here I took my knife and I brought it this way. And you can also do it this way. But you can also flip that knife the opposite way and just start with ups and downs and just make a little bit of roughness. And it makes a much more interesting mountain. And on this side, I'll do the same thing. And see, now I've got interesting little shapes. Very cool, huh? Okay, now I want to do this first left-handed. So I'm going to show you that what I do is I hold my knife this way. My knife blade, the long part of the blade, is right the same way as this mountain is. And if I were working on this side, I would have this blade going the same way as this side of the mountain. So, and if you're right-handed, you would do the same thing. Your tip, your point is at the top, your heel is at the bottom, and this is where you would drag your paint, your highlight. So, okay, let's go ahead. I'm just going to pull this paint out flat. Load both sides. Okay, so I have my white paint on here. Okay, what I want to do is just, as a left-hander, I'm touching the heel at the top of this mountain. I'm touching the heel first, the heel, and then slowly bring down the toe and just slowly start to drag. And you will find that the lighter your touch, the better your mountain is going to be. A little more paint. Let's go down here. There, that looks good. I like that. Okay, wipe that knife off. Let's reload, get another load. And this time, this light source is still here. So I'm going to touch. Now watch my handle. I'm touching, and as I come down the mountain, my handle is going down. My handle is dropping. Why? Because that gives you a narrow point at the top, small, because your peak is at the top, and as you come down, it gets wider and wider. And that's something a lot of people miss. Another thing I wanted to show you, now this is just for practice, another thing I wanted to show you is a lot of people put their finger on the blade. And you know what happens if you put your finger on the blade? Let me show you. You put your finger on the blade and you come down and you press and you get a ridge. Do you see that ridge? And that happens so often, and people don't understand, why is that ridge coming in there? Why does it, wait a second here. Why does that ridge show up? If I were doing it from the top coming down, and I were holding it, see, it doesn't come out. You'll get this ridge every time if you have your finger on the blade. So take that finger off of the blade and do it right. I know it's going to take some practice. It does, and nothing comes easy or fast. So now this will not be good because I'm not a right-hander, but if I were, and I go into, now don't judge me on my right hand, please. Okay, if I'm going to do it right-handed, my toe is at the top. If I'm left-handed, my heel is at the top, but right-handed, my toe, and you touch, and just let the weight of the knife come down. Reload. So I'm not pressing, I'm just letting the knife take over. Let's do that again here. Touch. Lightly let the blade do the work. Come down, reload, come down. And if you wanted to get a little fancy, what you could do is you could bring your knife and just kind of make a little wiggle here. Kind of like a J, the letter J. And then just keep on coming down. So, and anyway, that's just a couple of little hints that might help you with your mountain making. So now do you want to do the real thing? Shall we get into that? I think it's about time. So my supplies for the mountain that I'm going to be doing are very, very simple. I just have a palette knife and a 1-inch brush, a landscape brush. And my colors are white, black, Prussian blue, and Alizarin crimson. So very easy colors. So to start out, I was going to tell you too, with that last one that I just did on the practice canvas, when you're through with that, you just take your knife, you just scrape your mountain off and wipe it off, wipe the paint off on a paper towel, and then just dip a paper towel in thinner and just wipe over, and then take a clean paper towel, wipe again, and your canvas is clean and ready to start something else to practice. I think I'll have my sun coming in from this direction, so I'll have my larger mountain over on this side. So to start, I'm going to take a big glob of white, fairly good sized glob of white, a little black, a little blue, a little crimson. I just used a little tiny bit of each one. And let's just put that in here and mix it up. And you can still see a little bit of variegation in there. And I like that. So, okay, to start, let's go ahead and load the knife. I'm just pulling through the paint. And if you want, group it up in a clump so that you have a lot of paint to work with. Just pull your knife through. And let's go ahead and let's start. My mountain will be shining here, so let's go ahead and just start right in here. Now I'll go kind of slow so you can see what I'm doing here. And just a little bit of variation. I'm not doing just a straight down. I'm doing a little bit of variation. On the other side, let's go over here. A few little bumps and little things here. And more paint. That's good. And I'm just going to leave that like that. I'm not scraping all the paint off either. So I'm loading my knife again. And let's have just a little bit, maybe a little bit higher peak right here. And it's still, here's center, so I'm still, still got more of the mountain on the left side, which is what I want. A little paint here. And a little paint here. And let's come down. Let's have a really low one over here. Probably right about in here. And just have it kind of go off. Now remember what I said about getting used to your knife going on both sides. You want that. Okay, that's good right there. Okay, now next step I want to do is wipe off my knife, of course. Okay, with this 1-inch brush, what I want to do is just lightly tap out the bottom. Just tap out the bottom some. Kind of pick up some of that blue, bring it out. Okay, just kind of wipe that brush off. It does pick up a little bit of that orange, so you do want to wipe it off some. Next step is, let's go into our white. I'm going to hold the palette for this part. I hope you'll be able to see some of it. So, okay, again, going to bring, and this time I am going to do it left-handed. I showed you guys how to do it right-handed and just a little bit earlier. But this time I'm going to do it left-handed. I have my roll of paint here. Oh, it's not a roll, it's just a little bit of paint. I'm going to start at the top of my mountain here. My fingers are placed correctly and in the right spot. And I'm just going to touch and just lightly, 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 lightly. Come down. The mountain will pick up as much paint as it wants. I'll wipe the knife off because I picked up some color. This time let's just go right in here. Bring down. Wipe the knife off. Let's do that again. This time let's do this little point right here. Because I'm going to have this one set behind, and matter of fact, this one will probably be set behind too. But what I want to do first is I want to go into some blue, just plain Prussian blue. Pick up some white, and I just want to get kind of a shadow color. The shadow color is pretty blue, and I don't want to make it too one color. I want this variegation of color. I'm going to pick up some paint, and this time I'm going to do the shadow side. I'm going to do the shadow side by coming and touching, and just, oh my, whoo, is that bright? But that's okay. When we get finished, it won't be. My paint is just so soft. I cannot believe how soft it is. Okay, let's go on this side of the mountain. Oftentimes, I really like to put in the shadow side first. I find it much easier than doing the snow side first and then the shadow side. Just like so. If it's too dark, just go over it. It will not hurt anything. As a matter of fact, we can just even go over that with just a tiny bit of white here. Yeah, that'll work good. Okay. And let's go over to this side here. We can start on this way. See, sometimes your knife is upside down and sometimes it's right side up. That was a little happy accident. We have a lot of those. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to leave that like that. And now let's go back into the white, pulling it out, getting a fair amount of paint on there. Can you see that? It's not a roll, but it is a fair amount of paint. So this time I'm going to touch and just start dragging. And wipe the knife. It picks up paint. You have to keep wiping that knife, just like you have to keep wiping your brushes a lot. And let's go back. Here, let's go here and see, now I'm going to drop my handle. And now I want to make just like a little bit more right in here. So let's say this comes up and down. Wipe, grab more paint. Let's go here. There. I think that will work. And with this white, if you get a lot of white and put it into this blue, this is just a little bit lighter blue, if you can see that here. And sometimes you can just come down over the top of this, and this will just put a little bit of bluish tint on the white mountain, which is very, very pretty. And with the small part of the knife here, this little short edge, let's just go ahead and touch right here. I just want to break this up and make it more uneven. And let's just bring this down here. Wow, that's really picking up that orange. Oh, you know, that's another hint I need to give you. I did this canvas probably a week ago, because or no, it was not quite a week ago, but I wanted to see how if you guys were going to be interested in having me do a mountain first. So what I did is I just set my whole canvas, after I painted the sky, I just set my whole canvas in the freezer. You know what? That works absolutely fantastic. It will keep for ages. Well, not ages, but it'll keep a very long time. Your oil paint will freeze. Now you cannot do this with acrylic, but you can do it with oil. So there is another nice handy little hint. Okay, now we have that part done. Okay, now with this brush that you've already tapped it out so it doesn't have any stuff on it, let's just go ahead and go down here. And now I'm just blending it out into the lower part of, this is actually sky, mist, whatever you decide you want it to be. Now don't go way up high. Stay down fairly low. And you can just sort of make this go whatever direction you decide. See, now here I'm just lightly bringing that down. Blot your brush out because it probably needs it by now. And then just come up. And I mean very lightly, just like we did the clouds, just barely touching. And we're just blending that up some. And that should be good. And if you want, now I would like to see more of the paint right down here. So I am going to just go ahead and get a little bit of paint here. I want to see this come down, like this is more in the front. There. I like that much better. Very light touch. There. I think that turned out just fine. I just very lightly touch. I don't know what I'm going to do with this painting. Maybe I'll just go ahead and paint it and show you what I did after I'm all done. Or maybe you guys have an idea of what I could do on this painting that you would like to see. That would be fun too. Maybe you have some ideas. Boy, you can just imagine all kinds of things here. I guess I could get this back where you could see it, huh? Oh, okay, so, and I see another thing right here. See how this is all straight edge? I don't want straight edge there. So let's just roughen that up a little bit. There, that's much better. Okay, thank you for supporting me on my channel. I love you guys. I just look forward to your comments and sharing with you and letting you know what I'm doing. And so anyway, have a fabulous day. I love you all. Bye-bye.